What follows consists of excerpts from the Sri Krishna Karnamrita by Srila Bilvamangal Thakur. Translations by Dravida Das, except where otherwise noted. Chintamani jayati somagarir guru me shiksha guruscha bhagavan shiki pincha mauli yatpara kalpataru pallava shekareshu lila swayam vararasam labadhe jayashri. All glories to Chintamani and to my initiating spiritual master, Somagiri. All glories to my instructing spiritual master, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who wears peacock feathers in his crown. Under the shade of his lotus feet, which are like desire trees, Srimati Radharani enjoys the transcendental mellow of an eternal consort. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Asti sastadunikarag bigalot kalpa prasuna plutam vastu prastudavenu nadalahari nirvana nirvyakulam srasta narudhani vivilasad gopi sahasravratam hastan yastanatapavargamakalodaram kishorakuti. There is an entity who has the appearance of an adolescent boy, and who is being inundated with desire tree flowers falling from the fingertips of the damsels of heaven. That boy is completely carefree, situated in transcendental beatitude, as he sends forth waves of sound from his famed flute. He is encircled by thousands of effulgent milkmaids, who are feeling extreme pleasure at hearing the sound of that flute. That adolescent boy, the pinnacle of munificence, places liberation from birth and death into the hands of his surrendered devotees. Barhotang savalasa kuntalabalam madhuya mugnananam promilannavayovanam pavilasadvenu pranadamritam api nastanakudnalavidabito gopi miraraditam jyotischetasi nashtakasta jagatam ekabiramadbhutam. Let the effulgence personified, Krishna, shine within our hearts. He is wearing a bright peacock plume on his head. His face is steeped in sweet beauty. His fresh youthfulness is bursting forth, and his flute is pouring out murmuring, nectarous sounds of rapture. On all sides the milkmaids of Braja worship him in adoration. Indeed, he is, amazingly, the only enjoyer and the only source of enjoyment in the entire universe. Madhudatadasmitam matavamugnamokham buduham madishiki pinchalanchita manogakachakprachayam vishaya vishamasagvasanigunnani chetasi me vipalavalochanam kimapidhamachakastuchidam. Sri Krishna's eyes are long like petals of a blooming lotus, and his very charming lotus-like face is made all the more charming by his extremely beautiful and sweet nectarous smiles. His profuse curling locks look delightful with their decoration of a proud peacock's tail feather. Let him, the embodiment of all effulgence, forever shine within my heart, which is greedy for the poisonous meat of sense objects. Mukalayamana nayanam vajang bibo murali ninada makadanda nirbharam mukadayamana muduganda mandalam mukapankajam manasime vijimbatam. May the lotus of my Lord's face blossom within the lake of my mind. The eyes of that face resemble lotus buds, being half closed, and the delicate, mirror-like orbs of its cheeks are puffed with the nectarous honey of the flute sound. Akamani yakashora mugnamote, kalavenu konitadvitadanindo, mamava chivitimbatam morare, mododimnak, kanekapi kapi kapi. Let my words express even a tiny particle of a particle of a particle of the luscious beauty of Murari, whose artless adolescent figure enraptures me, and whose moon face is worshipped by the soft melodies of his flute. Vallavananapani pankaja sangive nuravakulam Vullapatala patali padivadi pada sororuham Ullasan Radhara Juti Manjari Sarasananam Ballavi Kuchakumbakuma Ponkilam Babamashye Ballavananapane Pankaja Sangive Nanavakulam Bullapatali Padivari Padasorohan Ullasan Radhara Juti Manjari Sarasananam Ballavi Kuchakumbakuma Ponkilam Babamashye. I take shelter of Lord Krishna, who becomes agitated with passion when he hears the sound of his own flute, held in his lotus hands, which resemble newly sprouted reddish twigs. His lotus feet reproach fully blossomed patali flowers with their beauty, and his amiable face sends forth blossoms of brilliance from his delightfully sweet lips. Apangareka bidabhangorabir, anangareka rasadanjitabir, anukshanam vallabha sundaribhir, abhyachamanam divamashriyamo. I take shelter of my Lord, Krishna, whom the beautiful milkmaids worship at every moment, with unbroken sidelong glances from eyes tinged red with passion. Maninu padavachalam bhande tachadanam vabo lalitani yadiyani lakshmani vajavitishu. I bow down to the feet of Lord Krishna, whose jeweled anklets tinkle and whose footprints decorate the paths of Braja. Nikala bhuvana lakshmi nitya lilaspadabhyam kamala vipana viti garbhasavankashabhyam Pranamadabayadana praudigadadritabhyam Kamapi bahuduchetok Krishna padambujabhyam. Let my mind attain some inexpressible beatific bliss from thinking of Krishna's lotus feet, which are the home of the eternal pastimes of the most beautiful maidens in all the worlds, which destroy the pride of whole clusters of lotuses, and which are highly esteemed for their great eagerness in providing safety for the Lord's humble devotees. Pranaya pananitabhyam shibalalambanabhyam Patipadalalitabhyam pratyahang nutanabhyam Patimohodadikabhyam praspulalochanabhyam Prabhatu vidihinak prananatak kishora. May the Lord of our life, that young boy Krishna, shine incessantly within our hearts. His eyes, full of love for Radha, are the abode of infinite beauty. Every day they appear newer and newer. At every step they increase their charm and elegance, and at every moment they sparkle more and more brilliantly. Madhuyavadadi madambutadanga bhangi shingada sankulita shita kishora vesha Amandahasa lalitanana chandra bimbam ananda samplava plavatam manome. May my mind float along in the flood of bliss emanating from Krishna's moon-like face, made charming by a very mild smile. Krishna has the appearance of a young boy, and beautified by the waves of his passionate ecstasy breaking in the ocean of sweetness, he soothes all distress. Avyajamandala mugna bhava asvadhyamana nijavena vanodanadham Akriditam adunapada sadoruhabhyam adrimadiya vidaye bhumanadra. Let the force of the flood of bliss emanating from Krishna's face, which saturates the whole universe, play within my heart, which is already saturated by contact with Krishna's lotus feet, by the display of charming artless emotions on his open, lovely lotus face, and by the melody of his flute, which is relished by Radha. Mama chaitasis podotavallavi vibho maninupara pamahimanju sinjatam Kamalavane chalakalinna kannika kalahang sakanda kalakujitadritam Mama chaitasis podotavallavi vibho maninupara pamahimanju sinjatam Kamalavane chalakalinna kannika kalahang sakanda kalakujitadritam. May the sweet jingling of the jeweled anklets of Krishna, the master of the milkmaids, be manifest in my mind. Radharani's white swans swimming in the lotus-filled ponds of the Yamuna accord that sweet jingling a warm welcome with the melodious warbling from their throats. Stokastokanarunyamanamuddalapasandhimandasmitam Premodvedanaragalakprasamadaprabhyaktaromodgamam Shrotam shrotamanoharam Vadavadu lila matho jalpitam Mityaswapamapasmahe Bhagavata Kridani ladrisha. We worship Lord Krishna, who is mischievously keeping his eyes closed, pretending to sleep, in order to hear the milkmaid's playful talks, which are so pleasing to the ear and the mind. Though Krishna is trying to restrain himself, a gentle smile trickles from his lips drop by drop, and he cannot check the rising tide of love, which causes the hair on his body to begin standing on end. Sadham samriddhair hamitayamanair atayamanair muralindhanadhai Mudha bishiktam mododakutinam balam kadanam avalokayishye. When, oh when, shall I see that young boy Krishna, the unchallenged king of those who are exquisitely beautiful? And when shall I experience along with that vision the flooding nectar of his flute's sound, endowed with the topmost musical embellishments? Shishadi kudate kudananok shikipitcha badanak shisho drisho yugulang vigalang madhudrava smitamundra madunamo kinduna. Shishadi kudate kudananok shikipitcha badanak shisho drisho yugulang vigalang madhudrava smitamundra madunamo kinduna. When will that child Krishna, adorned with peacock plumes, soothe and cool our eyes with a vision of his moon-like face, imbued with gentleness by the trickling honey of his tender smiles? Karunyaka badakatakshana rikshanena tarunya samvalita shaisava vaibhavena apushnata bhuvanamandhuda vibhamena Shri Krishna chandra shishadi kudalochanam me. O moonlight Krishna, please soothe and cool my eyes with your sidelong glances tinged with mercy, with the magnificence of your childhood touched by youth, and with your wondrous playfulness which nourishes the whole universe. Kadava kalindi kuvalayadalashyamatalala kataksha lakshanti kimapikaduna vichinichita Kadava kandarpo patibhatachita chandashada kamapyantastosha dadati molali kelinada. When will Krishna cast upon me his sidelong glances, which are as dark blue as the blue lotuses growing in the Yamuna, and tremulous with waves of mercy? And when will my heart find ineffable joy in the playful notes of his flute, which are more cooling than the moon held on the head of Shiva? Mahiprasadam hododai katakshay Bangshina nadanachadai videhi Vahi prasanhe kimeha paraynas Vaya prasanhe kimeha parayna. O Lord, please show me your mercy by casting upon me your charming sidelong glances, moving to the accompaniment of your flute song. If I have your blessings, what use are others? And if I am without your blessings, what use are others? Nabadhamodanjalaresha yachi Nirandadhanyo nati mukta kanta Dayanade deva bhavatkataksha Dakshinyaleshe nasakrinna shincha. I fix my folded palms upon my head, and, given voice by my increasing, ceaseless, pitiable misery, pray, O Lord, O ocean of mercy, please anoint me just once with a drop of kindness from your sidelong glance. Pichavatang savachano chitakesha pashi pinastani nayana pangacha pujani Chandra binda vijayo chita bhaktra bimbi chapal yamita nayanam tabashashavena. O Lord, our eyes have become restless to see your childlike form, with its clustered locks delightfully adorned with a peacock feather. That form, which is worshipped by the milkmaid's lotus eyes, possesses a face that has begun defeating the beauty of the moon and the lotus. Bharyachitam metavasani padatta bongi valguni valgadabashala velochanani balyadikani madavallava bhavani bhi bhavi luthandi sukatam tavajalpitani. O Krishna, Your verbal duels with the impassioned, vivacious milkmaids exhilarate the hearts of the fortunate. These talks are filled with the nectar of the exchanges of love, rendered very pleasant by waves of witty meanings, imbued with your natural boyishness, and punctuated by the movements of your wide, dancing eyes. Punak prasannindu mukhena tejasa buddhovatirnasya kripa mahambuddhi tadeva lila murali ravamritam samadhi vignaya kadanume bhave. Oh, when will Krishna, the great ocean of mercy, appear before me again with his spotless, effulgent moon face? And when will the nectarous sound of his flute, expressive of his pastimes, remove my great disease? Yavanname nadadasha dasami kutopi randradupaiti tamari krita sarvam bhava lavannakeli sadanam tavatavariva lakshyasa venu mukindu bimba. Till the 10th stage of man, death comes upon me through some physical defect, enveloping me in total darkness. Let me ever see the orb of your moon face, which is the abode of both the pastimes of beauty and your high-sounding flute. Hey Deva, hey Dayada, hey Bhavanaika Bandho, hey Krishna, hey Chapala, hey Kadunaika Sindho, hey Nata, hey Ramana, hey Nayana Viramo, ha ha Kadana Bhavata Sibadam Vishomi. Hey Deva, hey Dayada, hey Bhavanaika Bandho, hey Krishna, hey Chapala, hey Kadunaika Sindho, hey Nata, hey Ramana, hey Nayana Viramo, ha ha Kadana Bhavata Sibadam Vishomi. O my Lord, O dearest one, O only friend of the universe, O Krishna, O restless one, O only ocean of mercy, O my Lord, O my enjoyer, O beloved to my eyes, alas, when will you again be visible to me? Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Amunnidanyani dinantarani haritvadalokanamantharena anata bandho kadonaika sindho ahahanta katang niyami. O my Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, O Friend of the helpless, you are the only ocean of mercy. Because I have not met you, my inauspicious days and nights have become unbearable. I do not know how I shall pass the time. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Ashantasmitamadonadanadaroshnam harshadra jijunamanoga venugitam Vibramya jupalavelochana vikshisye tavabadanambujam kadano. O Krishna, when shall I see your lotus face with its deep red lips, its constant smiling, its very charming flute song saturated with jubilation, and its delightful half-closed eyes that sometimes open very wide and wander here and there? Lilahitabhyam vasashitalabhyam Niladunabhyam nayanambujabhyam alokaye dadbhuta vibramabhyam kale kada kadunika kishora. When will the time come when that merciful boy Krishna will look upon me with his playful lotus eyes, which are soothing and cooling with loving emotion, reddish at the corners and dark bluish at the irises, and wonderfully rolling and dancing? Bahola chikadabadam badna pichavatam sam chapala netram charabimbhadorostam madadamudalahasam mandarodhada leelam bhagayati nayanam me mugdavesham murari. My eyes search for that enchantingly adorned one, Murari, whose thick locks bear a peacock plume and whose gaze darts here and there very quickly. His lovely lips are red like bimba fruit, and with his sweet, gentle laughter, he seems to be churning the ocean of my heart with Mount Mandara. Bahula jadalachaya choram valasa balalasam madashikishikali lotam sammanogimokambujam kamapikamalāpango dangra prasanga jagam jagan modadimapadipako dekam vayam ragayamahi. We are searching for that person who has stolen the effulgence of thick clouds, who has grown a bit languid from playing so much, who wears a crest made from the playful feathers of an impassioned peacock, whose lotus face is so fascinating, who has become stunned by long and close contact with the upward-pointing sidelong glances of Srimati Radharani, and who is the very overabundance of perfection of all the sweet beauty in the universe. Badam Rishyam Dure Patipati Muni Nam Vajabadhu Drisha Drishyam Shashwati Bhavana Manohari Vadanam Anam Rishyam Vacha Muni Samudayanam Apikada Dadi Drishye Devam Daladalitani Lotaladuchim. When shall I see to my heart's content my Lord Krishna, for whom the sages must always search further along the path, but whose face, which enchants all the three worlds, is always visible to the eyes of the milkmaids of Braja? When shall I see him, whose luster resembles a slightly open blue lotus bud, and who is always beyond the reach of the words of the great sages? Ahamakadakada nikadamadamada Lakshmi Sadasadada Sahasiraha Sadashidashi Devi and Vajiyubadi Datikala Havijahani Jalila Modamudada Badana Shashi Modani Monili. I am absorbed in contemplating my Lord, whose eyes resemble luscious lotuses gently developing their beauty under the rays of the sun, and whose moon face is full of beauty, being exhilarated with delight at his having defeated the milkmaids in the lovers' quarrels. Kadakamalada Kalatalatatadabangshi, Kalanida Galadamadaganasarisi Devi, and Sahajadasa Badabadada Hasidaviti, Satadabahada Mani Monani Monili. I am lost in thoughts of my Lord, who is a deep lake of nectar trickling forth as the very melodious warbling of his flute, which he holds with his lotus petal-like fingers. I am absorbed in thoughts of the sweetness of his ruby-red lips, which bear a constant series of tender laughs, filled with an abundance of his innate loving mellows. Anam namasitam nuvoda pachitamakshina pakshmankare svalolam monodagino nayanayoda dramado jalpite Atam ramadaramrate madakalamam lanavangshi svane shashaste mamalochanam vajasasho mutim jagan mohinim. My eyes desire to see the form of the young child of Braja, who enchants the whole universe. His dark eyebrows are curved, his blossoming eyelashes quite thick, his rolling eyes full of passion, and his gentle speech saturated with feeling. His nectarous lips are very red, and he sounds low, clear, soft notes on his flute. Tatkaisoram takchabaktraravindam tatkarunyam techalilakataksha tatsoundaryam sachamundasmitashvi satyam satyam dolabham daivatepi. Truly, truly, even among the demigods it would be hard to find such beauty, such sweet adolescence, such a lotus face, such tender compassion, such playful sidelong glances, or such lovely mild smiling as we find in Krishna. Vishwopaplavashamanaika bandhadiksham Vishvasastabakita chetasam jananam Pashyama patinavakanti kandaladram Pashyama patipati shaisavam morari. On every path we see the childlike form of Murari, whose one fixed vow is to relieve all the afflictions of the people whose hearts are blossoming with faith in him. His soft, bright, bluish cheeks glow with ever new effulgence. Modada modada bimbe mandulam mandahasi Shishanam mamatanadi shitalam drishtipati Vipalam modana netri vishrutam venunadi Madakatamani nilam balamalokayenu. Oh, that I may see that young boy who has a complexion as deep blue as the sapphire, sweet lips like bimber fruit, charming, mild smiling, soothing nectarous words, cooling glances, and large dawn-red eyes, and who is famous for his flute song. Vakshastalecha vipalam nayanotpalecha mandasmitecha mudalam mudajalpitecha bimbadarecha mudadam mudaliravecha balam balasanidamakalahekadanu. Oh, when shall I see that young boy Krishna, who is an ocean of jubilation and a treasury of playfulness? Broad are his lotus eyes and his chest, mild are his gentle smiles and his loving talks, sweet are his cherry-red lips and his flute song. Adravilokatadapati nandhanetram Aviskritasmidasudamodadadoroshtam Adyam pumangsamavatam siddhabarhi barham Alokayanti kutinak kutapunya punja. The fortunate who have heaped up pious merit can see Krishna, the original person, who brings their eyes under control with his extremely tender glances, whose lips are sweet with the nectar of his open smile, and who has adorned his head with a peacock feather. Balo himalo lavalochanena bhaktrena chitri kutadinhukena veshena gosho chitabhushanena mugdhena dugdhe nayanotsavam. This boy Krishna, with his dancing eyes, his face beautifying all directions, and his charming outfit just suitable for a cowherd, has extracted the milk of joy for our eyes. Andolitaga bhujamakula lola netram mandasmitadra vadanambuja chandra bimbam shinjana bhushana shatam shiki picha mauli shitam balochana vasayana mamhyupaiti. He comes before us, the cooling balm for our eyes, wearing many tinkling ornaments on his body and a peacock feather on his head. His forearms are swinging, his eyes move restlessly with the agitation of love, and the moon of his lotus face displays a tender, gentle smile. And Pashupala Bala Parishadna Bhushana, and Shishadeshashita Lavalola Lochana, and Midalasmitadra Vadanendra Sampada, Madayan Madiya Vidayang Vagahate. This child Krishna, who is the ornament for the intimate community of cowherd boys and girls, whose lively glances are as so soothing, and whose moon face has a wealth of soft, tender smiles, gladdens my heart and enters deep within it. Tadidamapanatam tamala nilam talalabalochana taraka viramam Mudada mudada vakta chanda bimbam mukadita vena valasi jivatam me Tadidamapanatam tamala nilam talalabalochana taraka viramam Mudada mudada vakta chanda bimbam mukadita vena valasi jivatam me. This person approaching me is dark bluish like a tamal tree. His charming eyes, which resemble stars, move restlessly. The shining orb of his moon face is overflowing with delight, and he sportively begins sounding his flute. He is my very life. Chapal yasima chapalana bhavaikasimo Chatu yasima chatarana shilpasimo Saurabhyasima sakala datakelisima Saubhagyasima tadidham vajabhagyasima. Here is that Krishna, my very life. He is the acme of fickleness, the one ultimate end of the existence of the fickle-minded milkmaids, the epitome of cleverness, the extreme perfection of the artistic skill of four-faced Brahma, the limit of good fragrance, the utmost embodiment of all sorts of astounding pastimes, the culmination of good fortune, and the zenith of auspiciousness for Braja. Soyam valasamulali nadadamritena sinchandudanchitamidam mamakarna yugmam ayati me nayana bandho dananya bandho ananda kandalita keli kataksha lakshmi. Here comes my very life, Krishna. The beauty of his playful sidelong glances overflows with bliss, and he sprinkles my two perked-up ears with the nectar of his sportive flute songs. He is the only friend for my eyes. Tribhavanasadasaabhyam divyalila-kulabhyam dishi-dishi-chalalabhyam dipti-bhushadharabhyam ashadara-shadanabhyam adbhutabhyam padabhyam ayam-ayam-anukujyad venurayati deva. This is he, my Lord Krishna, playing on his flute. He possesses two wondrous feet, which are the shelter for the shelterless, which glow with the brilliance of many ornaments, which move this way and that, which are abundant with divine pastimes, and which fill the three worlds with the mellows of love. Soyam muninda janamana satapahadi, soyam madavajavadhu vasanapahadi, soyam tritiya bhuvanesha dadarpahadi, soyam madiya vidayamburuhapahadi. This is he who removed the burning distresses of great sages. This is he who stole the clothes of the impassioned wives of the cowherd men of Braja. This is he who curbed the pride of Indra, lord of the heavenly realm. This is he who has stolen the lotus of my heart. Kado Shadadi Jambuja, Kamavalasa Shiksha Guru, Pado Vibuda Padapa, Patama Pallavo Langino, Jisho Dalata Durmada, Jubabano Pamana Shriyo, Belokia Balochanam, Vitamaho Mahakshaisavam. Behold this nectar for the eyes, the luster of this young boy, Krishna. His hands teach graceful gestures to the autumnal lotus. His feet excel freshly grown desire tree sprouts in tenderness. And the beauty of his eyes destroys the pride of all comparable things. Taduchitita yovanam talalashaisavalankritam madachudadalochanam madanamugdahasanritam pratikshana vilobanam paniyapita vangshi mukam jagat tvaya vimohanam jayati mamakam jivatam. All glories to Krishna, my very life and the enchanter of the three worlds. His new-blooming youth is adorned with the last flickering of childhood. His eyes flashing with delight, he bewilders Cupid with the nectar of his smile. His beauty beguiles at every moment, and out of love he drinks from the mouth of his flute. Chitrang tade charanadavindam, chitrang tade tanayanadavindam, chitrang tade tad vadanadavindam, chitrang tade tad vapadasa chitram. How wondrous are these lotus feet of that Lord Krishna! How wondrous these lotus eyes, how wondrous this lotus face. Oh, how wondrous, wondrous is this body. Madodam, madodam, babadasya vebo, madodam, madodam, vadanam, madodam. Madugandhi madusmita metadaho, madodam, 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 madodam. Madodam, madodam, babadasya vebo, madodam, madodam, vadanam, madodam. Madugandhi madusmita metadaho, madodam, 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 madodam. The transcendental body of Krishna is very sweet, and his face is even sweeter than his body. But the soft smile on his face, which is like the fragrance of honey, is sweeter still. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Nadyapi pashyadikadapi nadarshanayo chitte tatopanishadam sudasham sahasram sattam chiram nayanayo nanayo padavyam swamin kaya nukapriya mama sanhidatse. O Lord, even to this very day, thousands of Upanishadic sages have not seen you with their eyes or in their hearts. So by what great mercy of yours have you come within the range of my distressed vision for so long? Akandanivanadasapravahar vakanditasheshavasantarani ayanti todvanta sudarnavani jayanti shitani tabasvitani. All glories to your cooling smiles, which are an overflowing ocean of nectar destroying all other joys with unbroken streams of the elixir of bliss. Kamam santu sahasrasha katipaye sarasya daurahyaka kamam bhakamaniyata padimalasvarajya badhna vrata naivaivam vivadamahi nachabayam deva priyam rumahi yat satyam ramaniyata padinatisthrayeva param gata. Let there be thousands of men who possess relishable beauty, and let there be thousands of men who are steady in the glory of the fragrance of attractiveness. We shall neither quarrel with them nor speak well of them. But the truth, O Lord, is that in you the perfection of attractive beauty has reached its limit. Bhuvanam bhavanam valasani shri stanayastha madasasanaksmarascha padichada padam parasarindras tadapi tachaditam vibo vichitram. O Lord, although the entire universe is your abode, Lakshmi is your consort, Lord Brahma and Pradyumna are your sons, and the chiefs of the demigods are your attendants, still your pastimes here in Braja are most wonderful. Devastriloki saubhagya kasturi tilakankurak jiya vijanganananga keli lalita vibramo. All glories to Krishna, the most beneficent in all the three worlds, whose forehead is marked with musk tilak, and whose love and joy are increased by the love sports of Braja's milkmaids. Premadangchame, kamadangchame, vedanangchame, vaibhavangchame, jivanangchame, jivatangchame, daivatangchame, devanaparam. O Lord, you and you alone are my worshipful deity, giver of love, fulfiller of desire. You alone are my knowledge, my power and wealth, my vital force, and my very life. Madhuryena vibardhantam vacho nastava vaibhave Chapalyena vijimbantam chinta nastavashaishave. O Lord, let our words be empowered to sweetly describe your beauty, and let our thoughts swell with eagerness when dwelling in your childhood. Yani tachaditarmitani rasanali yani danyatmanam yeva shaishava chapala vitikada radha varono mukha. Yava bhavata venugita gatayoli lamukam boruhe dara bahika yavahantu gadi tanye vatanye vame. Let there ever flow in my heart the nectarous pastimes tasted by the tongues of blessed fortunate souls. Your mischievous childhood pranks, such as laying in wait to obstruct Radha, and the sportive gestures of your lotus face, inspired by your rippling flute song. Bhakti stahishchadatada bhagavan yadisyad dhaivena nakpalati divya kishora murti mukti soyam mukulitanjali sevatesman dharmata kama gadayak samaya patiksha. O Lord, if I am engaged in firm devotional service to you, then I can very easily perceive your divine youthful form. And as far as liberation is concerned, she stands at my door with folded hands, waiting to serve me, and all material conveniences of religiosity, economic development, and sense gratification stand with her. Jaya 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 Deva 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 Chubhavana Mangala Divya Nama Deha and Jaya 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 Deva Krishna Deva Shavana Mano Nayanama Tavatara and Jaya 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 Deva 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 Chubhavana Mangala Divya Nama Deha and Jaya 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 Deva Krishna Deva Shavana Mano Nayanama Tavatara. All glories, all glories, all glories to you, O Lord, whose holy name is auspicious for all three worlds. All glories, all glories, all glories to you, Lord Krishna. You are the incarnation, who are nectar for the ear, mind, and eyes. Anugrahadrigana vashala lochanai, anusmanan vidamunalir vamhatai, yato yatak pasadati me velochanam, tatastatak spudotodavaiva vaibhavam. O Krishna, always remembering the nectarous, low, soft sounds of your flute, as well as your eyes, doubly expanded with mercy, I pray that wherever my sight shall wander, you will always manifest your beauty, sweetness, and opulence before me. From Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, Chapter 9, Text 306. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased to hear the book Krishna Karnamrita, and with great eagerness he had it copied and took it with him. There is no comparison to Krishna Karnamrita within the three worlds. By studying this book, one is elevated to the knowledge of pure devotional service to Krishna. One who constantly reads Krishna Karnamrita can fully understand the beauty and melodious taste of the pastimes of Lord Krishna. The Brahma Samhita and Krishna Karnamrita were two books that Lord Chaitanya considered to be most valuable jewels. Therefore he took them with him on his return trip to Jagannath Puri.